Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Hi guys.
Hi.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Shubham,
Okay.
you're not gonna turn on your video?
Like, Shubham?
I could just uh, I need to settle down somewhere.
Okay. First, we'll start discussing about Family Man season two. Uh, First, what's the favorite scene for you in Family Man?
Okay.
Yeah. I. Yeah. Yeah. What's the favorite scene in Family Man season two for you? For you both?
Favorite, no? The scene where Dhriti kills the guy, Salman. That is one of the scene which I like a lot.
Yeah. And Shubham?
And
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, let
yeah.
him continue.
Yeah.
No, I'm done. I'm not continue.
Okay. Um, I think that scene where Raji is visited by her boss from the from the mill or workplace,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah,
at her home, and the whole sequence, the rape sequence, and the PTSD gets triggered,
Yeah.
and then she attacks him. So that got conveyed, I think, very naturally, and it was very real. I think, I mean, the whole way. I mean, I hadn't anticipated it that way, that she'd be just ready for it to happen and
Yeah.
just end and him to leave. It kept happening, and then so that was one of my favorite scenes.
For me, the yeah,
yeah. Continue.
yeah. For me, the previous scene where not the previous scene, but the first time she burst out and she kills the guy who molested her in the bus. Okay, she killed with her bad hands, and that 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 scene just said that how badass she is, and how, how this character is going to be. I really love that, and I to be and I enjoyed the whole dog. Using every scenes where the family was shown, the Manoj Bajpayee, Gritty, Atar and Suchi. The four were looking exactly like a family. Okay, I really loved all the scenes when they were together.
Right.
Yeah, and then do you have any questions? Okay.
Even the
So,
single
like,
shot long scenes,
yeah. Sorry. Continue.
they were very pretty fascinating. The long short scenes. I mean, more than the climax one or the first scene, like the climax and the first scene, both were long shots. But in between, there was this police station attack scene, which is also one take.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, that was very thrilling. That's the most thrilling scene or sequence in the series.
yeah,
that was nice. And like for me, it's very hard to describe just one scene which was good because there were a lot of scenes.
yeah,
Shooting shot, the entire shot, right? That was
Yeah,
also very well like shot, and they showed everything which is going to happen. And then even after that, the entire hostage scene when
yeah,
Manoj Bajpayee is on
yeah,
call and
yeah,
he's trying to figure out how to do it and everything. That was also
yeah.
like very much nice, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like there were a lot of scenes like that which you can, and there cannot be just one scene which
yeah,
is great, right? Like
yeah,
the only thing which I said, the Dhriti one, the killed when she killed that person was very, because it was very surprising for me, right? Because I didn't heard, so like that was also like nice. So that was all
Mm-hmm.
going on. So it was very surprising for me. That's why I said like that is one of the best scenes which I thought is in. But apart from that, there are a lot of like
yeah,
shots between the fight between what's her name? What's her name? Sorry, I forgot her name.
Samantha?
the girl who played
Samantha.
Samantha.
Yeah,
And the scene between her and Manoj Bajpayee integrate when
the
in the police station
investigation.
before
Yeah,
the shooting when they both are talking, and when she
yeah,
said that unlike you, my story is true. You see, like though these are the scenes which makes it like very much I don't know,
yeah,
like just like feels like how strong of a character she is. Like she has been the only person who could like catch his light till now
yeah,
as a terrorist or someone like that.
yeah, yeah.
So that
And
was like very
Right.
much. There are a lot of scenes like that.
isn't every fight sequences was very well made. I loved all the fight sequences. The action choreography was absolutely
Chasing
brilliant.
scene.
Yeah, sorry.
Is it my net or Shubham's is stuck?
No, I think it's mine. I guess.
No, Shubham is stuck. That is what I'm saying, not yours.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
No,
What are you saying?
No, I thought you were stuck.
No, I'm just
no, no.
sitting, just hearing. Yeah.
It's mine. It's mine. Okay. Yeah, I know.
Continue.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think the all the
That
fights.
that chasing scene also and Samantha.
Yeah.
That entire sequence was also great, like amazingly shot. And the way that they captured her, and then she like almost killed the JK.
Yeah,
She almost killed JK and everything. It was like a
That was
lot of
really
like
funny.
that was really funny, but also at the same time you see when the point is when she was down, you knew that someone is she's going will give up, right? So you knew she was going to do something, but when she like took that stone and still hit JK and everything, you had
yeah,
pretty much chance to think maybe this is the time JK will die.
yeah.
Kind of scenes which like makes it like very much amazing kind of shots and everything. So yeah, for me it's that.
Yeah, yeah, I think this is the perfect Indian series I can call. I, I would like to call this as an Indian series than a Hindi series because uh, it has 45% of Tamil dialects, 30% of English dialects, and 25% of Hindi dialects, and they maintain the authenticity very brilliantly. And like they were stick to they how can I say it was so natural to see these kind of things, right? Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree. I agree.
yeah,
Like though that is, I said me and Subbu, we already had this talk.
yeah,
The reason why this is like a masterpiece, I would say, in
yeah,
Indian like web series kind of thing, because they did not change the language when
yeah,
they went to Chennai or somewhere else, right? And they also like took very much like there's a scarcity of water in Chennai, so
yeah,
they took that part also.
yeah,
It's very much like hot in Chennai. They took that part also. So it is like things like that which makes it like very much authentic. That because normally people would ignore it. Normally in mainstream cinema, people just ignore in the language, even the characters. See the first scene, which is like when JK goes to the hostage scene, and he says something to Muthu, and Muthu doesn't like what he said or something, and he said something else in Tamil to his other
yeah,
like fellow officers.
Yeah.
And when he asked him, and he said, "कि नहीं मैं तो यही बोला." You see, like the whole thing, it makes it very Indian, and South Indians has it in normal, like they have this what do you say riff. Sometimes you see that, right, normally. So those kind of things which is like very much make it very authentic and everything. So yeah.
yeah. You should know. Yes.
Actually, the time when you introduced the topic, I the network got disconnected from my side. So can you just
Yeah,
re
no, we were talking about the favorite scenes and the favorite things, favorite elements in the
no,
season two.
after that, after the scenes one, like
Yeah,
the
no, we
next,
were still talking about that.
Authentic.
Yeah,
the
Yeah, then we went
authenticity.
into
authenticity. Yeah,
authenticity of the series and everything.
I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just feel that Raj and DK, more than being from Andhra Pradesh or
Yeah.
whatever their upbringing is has been, it's more of being brought up in a middle class setting. So in every film or everything they make, apart from some of them, like which had went overboard with the styling, like
Yeah.
Gentleman.
Yeah.
Apart from that,
Gentleman.
everything which they make, there has they're just slight or like heavy flavor of middle class problems, middle class man behavior.
Yeah.
Some traits are always there, like in Shore in the City, it was filled with that. In Go Goa Gone, there were many
Yeah.
references, and
Yeah.
the way middle class people live, and a lot of that in Family Man. So that also feels like very original and very relatable and very authentic, and that's one thing which exists in all the cultures, be it Tamil,
Yeah.
so it exists everywhere. So that's where I find it like very, their forte in the writing, in the
Yeah.
writing style. So that's really good.
Yeah, and I have one point. I think this is more like an unpopular opinion, or I, I don't know whether it's an unpopular opinion or this is the correct thing for that. Because before Family Man, Manoj Bajpayee had fans. Okay, everybody loved him, but he didn't have a like a fan base kind of a thing. He didn't have a huge fan base or things like that. And after Family Man, yeah, he created a huge fan base for only for Manoj Bajpayee. Okay, like because how can I say, like be- uh, before Family Man, we all love him. Okay, he acted in Gangster Wasseypur. He acted in Aligarh. We all loved his performance, but we don't say that I'm a Manoj Bajpayee fan and all. But after Family Man, everybody is saying that I'm a Manoj Bajpayee fan. Yeah, have you felt that?
I don't know, like I don't know, but like for us, as a like me and my like the people I am surrounded with, we have been loving Manoj Bajpayee since Gangs of Wasseypur,
Yeah,
right? And even like Aligarh and all, they were there, and we have been his fan for a really long time. Like for example, like all of my like classmates and everything.
yeah,
When we study films and everything, so when we watch Manoj Bajpayee, there are like very few, actors which we love in like movie series and actors and everything. So like Manoj Bajpayee is one, Nawazuddin,
yeah,
Irfan Khan was one, Nasruddin Shah is one. So
yeah,
like there were few actors like Manoj Bajpayee had. I'm pretty sure he still doesn't have that like crazy fan base
yeah,
thing, right? Like that Irfan Khan had.
yeah,
Like for me, if I just compare Manoj Bajpayee with Irfan Khan right now, which is very unfair comparison,
yeah,
but let's just say for the sake of argument, right?
yeah,
Like if I compare, like Manoj Bajpayee doesn't have that much fan base, I would say, right? Like he has decent fan base, but Irfan Khan had something else at one point, or like I still does. I am pretty sure like nobody can say like Irfan Khan doesn't have a fan base
yeah,
even
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Like people
Irfan
love
does.
him. Like I would go for a movie that is like, from in my comparison, I would go for a movie in which like Irfan Khan is the star, but I would research about the movie first if there is a Manoj Bajpayee. I'm pretty sure it can be good movie or bad, but I would research. But for Irfan Khan, it's for me, it's like, yeah, I would go for the movie. Right? Like he has that reputation. He had that reputation that he will not do a shitty film.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, there were pretty much incidents which were there were like some shitty films which he did, but like for me, still like with Manoj Bajpayee, I still have that. I will do a little research before going to the movie. It's just with me, I'm saying. And like, but this was before Family Man also. This was after Family Man also. Like I mean, I'm pretty sure there has been huge what do you say, rise in his popularity after
yeah,
Family Man season 2. But for me, he has been like that like since a very long time. So I don't know. Yeah.
yeah. Shubham, do you have any? Do you feel like that?
has been experiencing since like the beginning of this career from his early years, I think that is just fine for him. Like he did Satya, he did Biko Matre, and he rose to international overnight acclaim. I mean, not overnight success, but overnight acclaim internationally because of that role. Then he did Ux. So in at that time, multiplex market was just it was just a very niche thing, and it had just started building up. So the multiplex audience loved him in the film. Then there was this rough phase where he did many different roles and none of them quite worked. But then there was not Satyagraha, sorry, Rajniti, and
Yeah,
again he received the acclaim in the whole ensemble cast of that film of nearly 15 principal characters. He got the got very differently noticed. And then of course Gangs of Wasseypur and other roles, Aligarh, and then this Family Man. So I think all the praise and all the fandom which is received is for his characters. Like people love the man who is Shrikant Tiwari. People loved Bhiku Matre. People loved Sardar Khan. They don't love Manoj Bajpayee for that. And I'm happy, and I think he should also be happy for that. That they follow the characters. They're in love with the characters, not the man. Because Family Man one released, and after that released Bhosle and Mrs. Serial Killer, and nobody gave a shit about those movies because even though Family Man gave him a lot of stardom, as people say, it wasn't for him. It was for Shrikant Tiwari. If Family Man had worked for him like that, then Mr. Serial Killer and Bhosle would have been big successes. Even the film Suraj Pe Mangal Bhari, which released in theaters. I went to watch that film in theater and nobody was there. Like only me. I was just the only single person when I went
I
to watch in a multiplex.
sorry to cut you off, like, but I also went to watch that movie in theater, and the entire theater was empty, and I felt so bad. But at the same
Yeah,
time, when I finished that movie, I realized that why it didn't have that much like audience. So, well,
if he's a star and so I
yeah,
think
that is
that
what
that's
I'm saying.
mostly for his characters.
Yeah, like Manoj Bajpayee as such doesn't have that much fan base as of now. I would say, like he's like still has limited. Sorry.
Hmm. I think that's good for an actor. Actor
yeah,
shouldn't be
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, true. Like people should love the character, not the actor as such. That
yeah.
is when you know that you are a good actor.
Yeah, that's a
Hmm.
great statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the casting in Family Man is obviously brilliant because even in the first season they had a lot of other state actors like they had Musa, who, 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 who's a Malayali, and then they had Priyamani, who's a Tamil, and then they had Sandeep Kishan and Basha, the one who played the role of Basha, and he's also from South. Okay, so the casting, even they said so told this in an interview that sorry, they told this in an interview that there was casting for the roles, not for the popularity, because they are not popular in North India. Okay, they are not popular in Bollywood, and but we need these actors to play those roles because they'll be perfect for this role. That's why we casted them. So I think the casting from Rajan DK was obviously brilliant comparing to a lot of other directors. And yeah,
Yeah, that's right. I think Family Man is an Indian show,
yeah,
and the way all other shows on at least shows and films on OTT universally, and it's just not just specifically Hindi or specifically some other language. It can be multicultural, but the thing is, or a North Indian show because season one had Malayalam and Urdu heavily. There was a lot of Malayalam, there was a lot of Urdu, and there was Hindi and English, of course.
yeah,
And the casting was accordingly.
yeah,
Season two, it was like 30 to 40%, 40% was Tamil. because the show was most of the show was based in Tamil Nadu. So I
I
think
would say more than 40% of the show was in Tamil.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Tamil,
because the
English, and
entire huh?
yeah, Tamil, English, and then only, yeah, because 45% of the dialects were in Tamil, and then 30
Yeah,
that
like
was in
the
English.
more than 40%, I would say, like
Yeah.
because half of the time, like when the series started, I thought that they switched the language from Hindi to
Yeah.
Tamil. Okay, there was a time when I'm like, did they just need the switch or something? Something happened, and then I realized that late. Like, I mean, it's a obviously it's a joke, but that is the most part of the like series was in Tamil, and then there was Hindi, then there was English and um, other language. No, there was no other language, but then there was English. So yeah, like okay, sorry, I just interrupted in between. Continue,
Yeah,
sir.
no, yeah. I think Shivam was speaking something.
and as far as is concerned, I think Raj and DK have this inclination towards casting at least one character from South India. I mean, if not even a South Indian actor, they are for that South Indian, somebody belonging to that culture. Be it in Shore in the City. Sendil was an NRI, he had to be a South
Yeah.
Indian NRI. And like in even another, which was, which one was there? In Happy Ending also, there was this South Indian, and in Family Man season 1, like
Yeah.
they had Priyamani, but
Yeah.
still they had Sandeep Kishan.
Yeah.
Even in the Kashmir
Kashmir. Yeah.
posting, they had someone from South India. So they
Yeah.
have this, I think, inclination towards introducing someone from South India. I wonder if the next season is actually going in West Bengal.
Yeah.
So how are they going to bring someone from South India?
I think they will cast Muthu in like normally
Yeah.
for the entire season. I don't know. I'm just kidding, but yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know. South Indian thing, I don't know, but like casting wise, I would say they had like some great actors though. They did like hold on a second, you guys can tell.
Yeah, even the South Indian actors also very popular in South India. Okay, the casting. Okay, in the character who the one who played the character Umayal. Okay, she and the one who played Bhaskaran, and then another guy with him. Okay, and they are very popular in South India. They were acted in serials, and also the soap operas, and also in films. They were very popular. So I think
Mhm.
they were ca- casting. They were casting them. ha- Having all opinions with the mind there, and yeah, I think they will speak to some South Indians to get to know these things, I guess, to cast these people. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
Mohit, continue.
yeah, okay, yes, sure.
You guys continue. It will take me 5 minutes.
Okay, okay,
Okay, sure.
okay.
Anything you
So
didn't like about the show, the season two? Anything you didn't like about the season two?
I, I almost like each and everything about season two. Yeah, I don't think no. Yeah, I think we should go first. I'm just thinking what were we, which is not good. I'm just thinking just so we just carry on.
I think Rajan DK, and like it's again their trademark that they introduce some silliness either to create the dark humor or for like the wonder of time or something like that. I mean, some coincidence to create that coincidence or something like that. They always do this, like they add the silliness into the scenes or some major points. So at the end of episode 8, there was this sequence where
Sorry,
remembering, if you're
can you please still repeat your thing after the season 8? Yes, episode 8. Can
episode
you,
8, yeah, in the
yeah,
episode 8 there was this policeman character at the end,
yeah,
some inspector or constable Shinde.
yeah. The one from the first season, yeah,
Yeah, from the first season. So just that he finds out, just for that, just for the sake of that man finding out the exact uh, this address for the man they are looking for, he just randomly picks up two guys who were smoking up joint, and he asks him, and they just take him to his residence. I mean, that was very silly. I mean, what kind of a plot point was that? So just wasn't that satisfied. I mean, it's a big coincidence for this to happen at
yeah,
that point of time. So easily just get away with it and find the base.
yeah,
What did
yeah.
you think about it?
Yeah, even I, 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 I didn't felt much like this, but I was little disappointed with one thing that the chemical factory, okay, the one showed in the last episode of the first season, the chemical factory in Delhi. Yeah, can you hear me?
You're
Yeah,
lagging. You're lagging
yeah. No, can you hear me now? Yeah.
at some
Okay.
points between. You're
Yeah.
lagging. It
Yeah.
just gets paused.
Okay. One second. Yeah, that's, yeah, go. Okay. Yeah. The chemical factory, the origin chemical factory, if I'm not wrong, in the Delhi. Yeah.
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 Orion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was expected a lot from that. I, I was expected the entire episode will stay on that, will stick to that, but it didn't have much. It was like it just wrapped up in just 10 minutes or less than that. Yeah, I was little disappointed with that, but it's fine. Other than that, I don't have much problem with it. I really loved the season.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, at the end of season one, they left too many,
Yeah,
open endings, right? So of course they can't continue with everything. I mean, even the Kareem Bhatt thing, like the Muslim guy
yeah,
who got
yeah.
killed
Yes,
unnecessarily.
still that there is no perfect conclusion for that thing. What the
Yeah. So they
government is doing here.
make so people must have been anticipating something to happen about it, something big or wrong to go ahead after it got leaked. But they just, surprised us in a way by not showing anything about it. Even the that thing. I mean, I was very disappointed by the response of the audience to that one thing. I mean, I mean
Lonavala.
that's
Yeah,
what?
that Lonavala.
Yeah, the Lonavala thing. I think in the first season, in that episode where they're
Yeah.
staying in the same room, and
Mm.
at the end of that shot, she just switches on the light.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty obvious what's gonna happen. And even the
Yeah.
next morning when the car shot is there, it's pretty obvious what
Yeah,
actually what happened.
and Priyamai also in guilt. Okay, she's also in guilt. So it's obvious that
Yeah,
yeah,
and in the reviews, I mean,
yeah. Yes, sorry, I haven't heard anything.
stop couldn't
Yeah,
hold themselves from asking
yeah.
that one
Can you
question,
please?
that why didn't you talk about it?
Okay, can you please say it again? I haven't heard anything. Sorry, because my network is very bad. Yeah,
May I please?
yeah. Can you please say it again? The last thing that you told. Yeah, last thing that you said.
Yeah, I was saying, even in the reviews, the
Yeah,
so-called critics on YouTube, I mean, they kept mentioning about it, the Lonavala thing, what happened in Lonavala mein kya hua. I mean, that was
yeah,
pretty obvious, and it was very subtle went behind it, like Katappa ne Bahubali ko kyun mara. It became
yeah.
something like that, even though it was very obvious and very
Yeah,
subtly shown.
and it is not so necessary to the series, right? It is not so necessary because there are a lot of problems. Okay, this is just a small thing. They're just giving so much importance to this thing, then the others, then the chemical factory, then the blast and all. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sorry, what are we talking about?
yeah,
things you didn't like about the season two.
yes, yeah,
Oh, one thing that, like, I guess someone mentioned it on Telegram as well. That therapist sequence. That is one thing which I thought was pretty much like there were times when it was not necessary. Like there were times when it was necessary, and there was time when it was not necessary. Like they could have, trimmed the scenes. Basically, what I'm saying. That was one thing. What else do I think was in that? That I didn't think like there was anything which was pretty much not something we needed. The only thing was that the whole Irwin sequence again was something which I thought was extended, like exaggerate, whatever the word is, correct word. I don't know. They exaggerated it a lot. So that is one thing which I didn't like. Other than that, I was okay with the series entire thing. Like I didn't have anything that much to not like or anything. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. What do you think
What
about
about?
that scene where
Uh,
the police, with the police guy in his van, in his jeep, he just miraculously finds two guys who just know where they're hiding or what's the exact address of the place.
okay, yeah, that also no. That is one thing, and also the other thing is, it is quite possible that when like around the area,
Yeah,
like for example, if I live near Shubham's house and someone asks me कि तूने इसको देखा है क्या? And I'm smoking a joint around somewhere your house only, and I just some police wala comes like, hey, do you know this person's house or something? It is quite possible, right? That is like it just. I mean, yeah, that is like very much because the entire series is character driven, right? It's mostly happened because some character is doing something and something is going on. Like it's not as such that much at plot. Like I mean, obviously it is plot driven as well, but character driven may. I'm sorry, character driven may it comes that sometimes you take that cinematic liberty that see that is
it's
possible.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like it comes that like that is possible, like it's a possibility, like even though it might not happen in real life that much, but it's a very much possible when you are around that area and someone is living there, and if you ask someone that do you know this person, that was the that thing. It's type, I guess, very much abrupt or anything like that. Did you not like it?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I enjoyed that part because it was a just again for the fans it was a treat because Shinde just appeared
Yeah.
miraculously there.
Yeah.
Yeah, from season one. So, and one more thing that he was in season one, he got the job to look out for Sajid. I mean,
Yeah.
who the guy was,
Yeah.
and finds
And he
Sajid.
missed it. Yeah.
So he confirms him. Yeah, so that's his full journey. So
Yeah.
that was pretty fascinating, and again adds up to the silliness of Raj and DK. But still, the whole tension which was created around that Dhriti kidnapping thing,
Yeah.
it just got stalled like that. I mean, you got the address just like that. So that
But
was a bit disappointing.
okay, like for me, I thought because see that is when they had to wrap it up somewhere, and now it's a very high chance that they would not have found her if the it was not for like Shinde and the two joint
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
right? So they had to make something because there was, and they could not show anything else, right? Because they already booked they cannot track the phones. They don't know where the person lives. They don't know the numbers of like their bikes and everything. So the only possible outcome which they had so that they can track these guys was this, right? And they used it,
Mm.
and like that was the entire thing, because there was if not, the scene would get stretched a lot, right? And there was no point, because that was not actually the plot line of the entire series. It was just one of the side plot, right? So I guess like to take that as like as pretty much fine, because they could not do anything else. They had to like justify it somewhere, and they
Yeah.
just did it with that thing, with two people smoking joint, and they just know the guy. They just happen to know the guy. They must have seen him somewhere, live in the same society, because and like in Mumbai, if you have been around a like nearby neighborhood, you can see the people in anywhere, not only Mumbai, but if someone is living by neighborhood, you can know that person. Like if someone shows that, do you know this person, where does he live? So I guess that was pretty much justified in that way.
I think we have to go and check the scenes again. Maybe the guys were just present somewhere in another scene also, like just at the corner of
Yeah.
the shot. Maybe
Maybe,
we have to
maybe
rewatch.
the subtlety of Rahul
Yeah,
LDK will make
intelligent
it.
Yeah.
directors, very
Mm.
intelligent director.
Must have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's
And
move on.
to the
Yeah,
next.
let's
Okay.
move on. Yeah,
Yeah. Then the next topic. Yeah. Do you guys remember? Because I have
we
forgot it.
got stuck again.
Yeah.
We got stuck again.
Can
Sorry.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yeah.
next topic. Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Next topic. I've just forget it. That's why I'm just checking it.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyways, what's your view on film critics and ratings based on their reviews? Yeah. What's your view on film critics, first of all?
Shubham, go ahead.
Sorry?
Yeah. So the mainly how I thought about this question was ki, like the Rotten Tomatoes, like the leading
Yeah.
rating which comes on Google, the first thing which comes and which is most famous these days critics who have submitted their reviews and whose reviews are considered. And based on their positivity or negativity and their response, the film gets a rating.
Yeah.
I mean, even a film critic is an audience. Like out of 100 million people watching a movie around the world, they're just 100 people. So
Yeah.
out of those 100 million, you pick up maybe 100 film journalists or self-proclaimed or appointed by a publication as a reviewer. I mean, I just feel that their work, uh, hinders a lot of communication between a filmmaker or the creative people and the audience. I mean, even the last time when I was interacting with these guys, there were some who said ki, oh, that film, I was really waiting for it, but then I saw the ratings and reviews, they were not good, so I didn't watch it. I mean,
Yeah.
those films are wonderful. We watched it, we loved it, and you guys haven't still haven't because you
Yeah.
went for the ratings. So
Yeah.
it's since the time I've followed movies, I've always felt that the only thing which we do not need, like not even a single percent of it, is film critics.
Yeah.
So I have a very polarized view like that. No, it's very cynical. We just don't need them.
No, I like I very much agree with Shivam also, because I'll say like one incident which happened with me, and that is when I realized that this is all shit. Okay, there was this movie called Wazir. It came when I was in class 11. Okay, and I wanted to watch that movie. It was Farhan Akhtar and Amitabh Bachchan. Okay, and we'll just like look at the reviews, and then we'll see if we want to watch it or not. And we saw it someone gave it 2.5 3, and like those really low numbers and everything. And and then we like after a point we decide, what, let's just go watch it, then we'll see. Okay, and I watched the movie. It was amazing, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized that I don't know, but it is not necessarily the same opinion which I will have about the movie. And same happened with Tamasha.
Yeah.
Tamasha got very much like criticized a lot when it came to what is this movie, कुछ समझ में ही नहीं आया, what is going on, what is Imtiaz Ali doing and everything. And when I watched it, I went with my friends, and one of my friend cried. and that movie was that good. And I still watch that movie multiple times, like when I get time and everything. It's one of the greatest movie by Imtiaz Ali, I would say,
Yeah.
right? But at that time critics were
Undoubted.
going ki kya bana hai ye. So you see, like in the end they are also just people with opinion, right? They don't have that much knowledge about films in that sense. They have just watched the films, they have not created it, they have not studied it, they have not done anything about it. They just have opinions about it, and so do we.
Yeah.
So why do we, like, it's more like a, what do you say, influencer thing basically, right? They are just
Yeah.
influencing us to not watch something which they don't like. But it can be really much difference, because aesthetic and the definition of art for everyone is really different, right? It cannot be same. Like for me, what I consider the best movie might not be the same for Shubham, might not be the same for Muthu also, right? So like, because everyone's aesthetic and art, it's very different, and you cannot just go with like one critic saying ki this is good, this is bad, and it's not possible in that. And that's why, like, same, I agree with Shubham, like this is one of the useless jobs that which exists. Because I mean, I agree, like it should be there at some level. Like journalism, film journalists are fine. They say that
Yeah.
what the movie is about, is it like what a watch or something, that is okay. But people who went into like ऐसा क्यों किया, वैसा क्यों किया, those are the people who are like very much like, you have your opinion, I understand you didn't like it, you don't have to make other people also you don't watch it,
Mhm.
right? That is my opinion about critics. I mean, I told Muthu when he said that, "Sir, I have very rigid opinion about this."
Yeah,
But
yeah. Recently, I felt that movie
you
reviews
got
was yeah,
disconnected again. Sorry, you lagged
yeah,
again. Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
You're saying,
Recently, two movies I felt like the review which were very bad, so I decided not to watch it. Okay, one was that Arjun Kapoor and Pariniti Chopra movie, that Sandeep or Pinky Farad. Yeah, that
which
was
one?
okay.
Which one?
Nandi or Pinky Farad.
Acha, okay,
Sandeep
yeah,
or
even
Pinky
I haven't
Farrar on
watched it.
Prime
Yeah,
Video.
Yeah,
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 even
yeah.
I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
That's
watched
the
it,
best
but
movie I've watched this year.
okay. Yeah,
Really? Is it that good?
yeah. Is it?
It's
I
very
haven't
good.
seen
I
it.
mean, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Very good
yeah,
I will
experience.
see it. I'm on movie marathon anyway, so I will watch it today only.
Yeah, you should go for it. Sure.
yeah. And
Sorry, continue.
they give very bad review, very negative reviews for that film, and then it was really good. Okay, so there is no point in it. And also there is another film named Kala, yeah, from Malayalam. Okay, yeah, they give when the film released in theater, they gave 2.5 or 2 or something, 2 out of 5. Okay, and then the film released in Prime Video. Lot of people watched it and they loved it. Okay, so like it was obviously no point in having
There
it
have
right.
been there's so many movies. For example, Bombay Velvet. I don't know if
Yeah,
you guys have watched it,
yeah, I
right?
watched
But
it.
it got criticized a lot by a lot of film critics and everything. I absolutely loved that movie
Yeah,
when I
I think
watched it.
that is on review. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go for it and then I'll tell you.
No, no, no. You can say
Yeah,
what do you say?
yeah, that is on reviewer. I don't know. I'm not aware of his name. Okay, but he gave 2.2, 2.5 or something for Lagan, 1.75 or 2 for Swadesh, and he gave 2.25 for Chak De India, and he gave 4 for Prem Ratanan Payo. And, and it was, yeah, I think it was
That is the thing. No, it
Karan
is
Adarsh
it is
Ali, I
more
guess.
about like personal opinion than, like, for example, I absolutely loved like Bombay Velvet so much that I want like Anurag Kashyap to release that 4 hour cut which he has, that he's not
Are
releasing.
you on FC Front Row group?
Yeah, I am.
On the 6th anniversary recently, on 15th of May, I posted a long message regarding that. Like, we want the
Oh,
director's
you
cut
did?
for that film.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
mean,
I remember talking about it in the group. I had conversation with, I guess, Manjeet and
Yeah.
other people. See, we talked about that, how that movie was so great, and like,
Yeah,
the review wasn't
Oh,
good. There was no way it should have been criticized in any way, because the movie was on, and it is most of the movies, right? Like most of the great cult movies which comes have been criticized by some critic who was in that, like at that time, just said that it's shit, and not a lot of people watched it, and it just
yeah.
went, like, it didn't get the recognition it deserved. It happened a lot of times, right? And that is just, I have very rigid opinion about film critics, because I don't know. It's just it's just like that one person in the group who thinks that he has all the knowledge about movies, and he doesn't know shit. That, just that, nothing else.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking about Bombay Velvet, I think even like if the director's cut, the 4 or 5 hour long director's cut, which is there somewhere in the cans, if it gets released, then even the twist after the interval which comes in the movie, I think even that'll be more justified, or even it'll land more
I
in a better way, I think.
I am pretty sure, like, if 4 hours, 5 hours, like that cut will come, no, we will have more clear, the reasons of all the things which were happening.
Yeah,
Because there was a, like, Momo as a great movie, but there was a time when you were like, "Ki, why is this happening?" Just for a second, you would think about that, even though it was not a, like, very significant. That's why they cut the part and everything, right? But
hmm,
like, we have developed in a part in the thing, like that we want series now more than movies, because we want to know more in depth about the character and what is going on, right? We have become that generation now, because like earlier generation, they just wanted to see what is going on. Now we, like, our generation, we want to go in depth to what is going on and why is it going on, right? So we have become that generation of, like, thinking about in series, not in, like, movies.
the
Like,
long
so,
form.
like, yeah, so like that 4 hours, 5 hours certainly will have more depth knowledge of what is happening and why was it happening and everything, so it would be like a better experience than the earlier, like, 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. And more than everything, like so much of money and effort was spent on that whole thing. I mean, like, and
Hmm.
half of it was scrapped off. It's just waste of a lot of dream and effort, I think.
Yeah.
Like, that is the thing with Rakash's movie, he has
Yeah.
been used it. He's used to it. He has been, like, used to, like, censor board cutting his movie or someone else cutting his movie. This time, so he had to cut it by himself, because it's not possible.
Yeah.
It is not like very much Indian life. No, nobody would watch 4 hours of movie in theater in India, right?
And the
So, like,
studios are also not at all supportive. I mean, studios at that time
it was Fox.
for
I have
Bombay
no
Velvet,
idea. I don't know.
it
I
was
have no idea. I
Foxfire
will have to.
Studios, and it was their first big production for presentation in Hindi. And
Okay.
I think they didn't support the film that well for its promotions also. I mean, they just believe that it's going to sink. Like
See,
everybody believed.
like you said, no, about critics, we are talking about 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. It doesn't deserve 50%. Deserve much more. Bombay Velvet,
Yeah,
but a lot of people have still not watched it because uh, critics the bol diya
Reviews.
ghatiya,
Yeah.
right? And that is the thing which I feel like a lot of movies, like good movies, gets does not get recognized because of some people who just said that it's not a good movie, right?
Yeah.
even
And that
Tashkent
is
Files.
where
Have you watched Tashkent Files?
I have, but I don't remember
Sorry.
because I was in
What?
theater when I was.
What's the thing?
I have. I don't remember the
Subbu
movie.
was
That is what
asking.
I'm saying. Yeah,
The Tashkent
Subbu.
Files is somewhat inspired by the 12 Angry Man movie.
Yeah. I haven't
Have you
watched
watched it,
that.
Subbu?
Yeah, I watched 12 Angry Man. I haven't watched the film that you're saying that, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, Tashkent. It's not based on. It's just. It's just kind of gets inspired by 12. Angry Men.
Yeah.
The structure is not even the same, but it's kind of inspired by that, and it's a great film.
Taskin
I think
Files,
every Indian should watch
Taskin Files is
Tashkent
Rajendra
Files.
Prasad one, no? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I watched it in theater, but I don't remember the movie as such now. See,
Lal
again,
Bahadur Shastri was assassination of
um,
Lal Bahadur Shastri.
Yeah.
yes, you see, like
Who's the
Govind
actor?
Singh,
Yeah.
uh,
Who's the actor?
Govind Singh, hold on,
Yeah.
just again, proving the point how bad film critics are. Right, Shivam said it's a great movie, and its rating is 1/5, like on Hindustan Times. You see, like
Everyone,
it's
everyone who reviewed that film in India, every critic gave it like 0.5 or 1 or 0. And look at the audience. I mean, Subbu was asking about the actors, no?
Yeah.
The main
mhm.
actor is the main character is played by Shweta Basu Prasad, who wasn't famous and isn't at all famous right now. Also, there was Nasiruddin Shah,
Yeah.
there was Mithun Chakravarti, there was Pankaj Tripathi,
Pankaj
there
Tripathi,
was the director's wife,
Mandira
Joshi.
Bedi,
Her name is
Mandira Bedi is also in there.
Mandira Bedi,
Yeah. I know.
Rajesh Sharma. None of them are stars, none of them are famous bankable actors, and the movie
Yeah.
was made on a
Naziruddin Shah
budget
was
of.
little famous, right? Naziruddin Shah was
He is
he's a
not a
great.
star.
I mean, Pankaj
Okay.
Tripathi was also there,
Yeah.
brother. It's not
That
like the
they were
famous
great
actors were not
actors.
there.
Yeah, they
Pankaj
are
Tripathi
great
was very
actors. That's
famous
why they
at
were
that time.
cast.
Yeah.
No, I
Pankaj
don't
Tripathi
think
was.
so.
What are you talking about? Mirzapur came, bro, and the people were dying for Pankaj Tripathi at that time. Are you
But if
kidding me?
Pankaj Tripathi, even he has a limited scope. Like why Kagas couldn't get a release in theaters for a very long time. Like Kagas was made in 2018,
Oh.
and still it had to 1819, and it had to wait till 2021 to get a presentation and a release. Like
Because
he was there in.
because no, it is not mostly because of the actors, but it's also about the distributors' trust in the film. No, so like film industry, not every distributor will buy any film because they need to know that movie will work or not. So they must have seen the movie. They must have thought that it will not go in mainstream. That's why a lot of movie does not get released, even though it has the best actors. Unless you have like contacts like Karan Johar and Salman Khan, you cannot get distributors to release your movie that easily. Pankaj Tripathi is a great name to it, but he
Yeah.
doesn't have that much business in that sense. People will just not go and watch that movie because of him. That is the thing, right?
Yeah,
But
that's why it happened with Task and Files, no?
yeah, no, but that is like that's what I'm talking about. That production wise, not all distributor will like every movie in which these actors are who are famous, but who are not quite as famous. Like for example, Karan Johar returned all the money of distributors when Kalank failed. These
Yeah.
production house won't do it. That's why distributors can go with them. They have that power and trust with them. That's why Karan Johar, Salman Khan, their movie releases in like theaters because distributors know that if something happens, they will get compensated.
Yeah.
But movies like these, that's why they now get OTT release more than theater release because distributors are not sure if people will watch it in theater. That is the thing. But with movies like Radhe, it would have gotten a theater release if there was no pandemic and everything, right?
Yeah.
Because distributors know even the movie will fail,
The fans will watch it.
right? Fans will watch it and everything, even though it cannot make that much profit or anything, but they will get compensated
Yeah,
for
of
whatever
course.
they're investing, and they will get some money out of it. They will not
Yeah.
go in losses. It's
Yeah.
all a business thing which we are talking about, like going in theater release and everything. It has nothing to like because Pankaj Tripaঠি's movie you will watch, but not a bulk of people will watch, and like it does not have that Salman Khan fan base and everything, and
Yeah.
also the movie is like very much when the movie is very much indie and artistic kind thing, which is not like very mainstream drama which Indian audience craves, right? So there's like lot more chances of it failing than it getting hit
Yeah.
because you have to like convince the distributors, producers, everyone, let's do it, let's do that, let's do something around it, because a lot of also money needs in marketing. So
Mm.
these are the entire things around. That's why a lot of movie don't like now. The people have given up. Like small filmmakers have given up in theater release that much, because they're like, how does it even matter now, right? They just have to convince one person, and Netflix and all, they are very much outside, because they know that audience from all around the world are watching. So थोड़ा सा तो audience मिल जाएगा. So that's why they also take revenue basis पे या किसी basis पे all those things. And theaters are much more expensive in that sense. And Netflix and all, they are very much affordable, like for everyone. That's why the most of the movies which are not get released in theater, because it was a risk to take, and nobody in business like wants to take risk. Yeah, which doesn't guarantee how big fame actor is, unless he doesn't have money to give the distributor profit. Sorry, I got off topic. Sorry.
Yeah,
uh
yeah,
No,
what I
let's.
say?
You want to move to the next question?
Yeah,
yeah,
let's move on.
yeah. And then the films that you love, love, the films that you love watching in recent times. Okay, yeah, in the last
Sorry,
five to
what
five
did you
months.
say?
The films that you loved in recent times. Okay, the films that you loved watching in recent times. Yeah, in last
Like
four five
new
months.
releases.
Yeah, yeah,
New
I,
releases.
yeah, yeah. Or maybe in 2021. Yeah.
the difference between, you are saying,
Sorry.
No, he's
what is
asking that like the recent
The films
movies
you.
which you watched and they were really good. You really liked them.
Yeah.
the
Any
recent
recent
releases you're
movies?
Yeah.
talking about, right?
Yeah.
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 What was the recent releases, man? I don't even remember. uh Last movie I watched in theater was, damn, it's been so long. What were the recent releases? Can someone tell me? Because I cannot like, honestly, I cannot remember.
Okay.
One movie
Not
which
only
I
There
the
liked.
was
recent. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, continue. Someone say.
Yeah. In 2020, the film that you loved in 2021. Yeah. The last four five months.
2021. Like, is it necessarily supposed to be Indian?
Yeah. No. No problem.
no anywhere around the
No,
world, but
Yeah.
released in this year.
Justice League's director cut.
Yeah.
That was nice,
Mm.
and the Army of Death. Like,
Yeah.
both are Jack's movie, but still, that
Yeah.
the thing. And one movie, I don't think it was 2021 release or 2020 release.
Sorry,
I don't know.
I
Was
couldn't
it
hear you.
Yeah.
2021?
Yeah. What it is?
Puglet.
Puglet.
Sanya
Ah,
Malhotra.
yeah. 2021
Mm.
it was. It was 2021.
It was 2021. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that
I
was,
was.
and wait, same topic was Ram Prasad Ki Tervi. Almost
Ram
same
Prasad
topic.
Ki
It
Tervi.
was quite
Yeah, I
Yeah.
similar.
haven't watched it.
So for me, I like Ram Prasad Ki Tervi more than Paglet. But they both were like topics which have not been touched by anyone else in the industry yet. Like, I haven't seen such movie like when Seema Power, I guess Seema Power got that film Ram
Mm.
Prasad Ki Tervi. I was very much like, "Ki, this is something new that I have
Mm.
like seen in that way." I like Ram Prasad Ki Tervi very much. And Paglet was also great. Like the entire because see, Ram Prasad Ki Tervi was more about, it went on full on like family based. Like, it was like everyone was a main character in that, in some
Mm.
sense. Everyone has In Paglet, it was more about Sanya Malhotra.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that was and both were like fairly good movies. Those were the two movies which I liked. What else? What else? Okay, I will take some time. Someone go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
I watched Ram Prasad Ki Tervi when it released in theaters on 1st of January. It released. So I watched it first because I was waiting for it again since 2018 and 19. So that got released. I watched it. I loved the film. I mean, it was good. At least for a
Mm.
one-time watch, it was great.
Yeah.
And I have watched one film with that subject. It's a black and white film. It's a very recent film, not that old. It's 2018 or 19. I think it was in Malayalam. It was called Shavam. Shavam matlab dead body. So I think it
That
was in
that
Malayalam. You can
that 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 is another film which was also in the same topic. It was Emayu, right? It was directed
okay.
by yeah. So I don't know the film that you was saying. Okay, yeah, I haven't heard
I
about
haven't
that
watched
film.
both of the Malayalam movies.
Yeah,
Like for
Mm,
me, I haven't been that much like avid watcher of regional films that much. Like it's very recently which I have started watching these kind of movies because of my friend. But yeah, so I don't know about it. But like that for me, Ram Prasad Ki Teri was something new as in like for my
yeah.
watch. Yeah. What else?
And yeah, Paglet was I watched it on Netflix and it was just it was just fine for me. And both the movies got shot in the same house. Trivia.
okay. Oh,
Like Ram
Yeah.
Prasad Ki Teri and Paglet got shot in the same house.
Yeah.
okay. I haven't
There
watched
was
Ram
Sandeep or
Prasad.
Pinky Ferrar.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it yet.
That's for sure. You should watch it. It's a great movie. Then Joji, I love Joji.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I watched it. Yeah, that's a good watch. I won't say like it was best I watched in 2021, but it was a good watch. Yeah.
And then again, there was this Malayalam movie which was the latest from the new releases I watched. It was Nayattu.
yeah.
That's how it's pronounced.
I had
Nayattu.
to, yeah.
That's a really good thrilling drama film. I mean, I really liked it. It had a very deep impact. So
One movie which I like kind of enjoyed, as in because it was also like like as a wholesome kind of movie was Cinema Valli.
Yes, yeah,
You
I
guys have
loved it.
seen it? Yeah, like for me it was more like a you know good watch, like time pass watch, but it was a good watch. That is like one thing which I have watched. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
Okay. For me, I loved Seema Mandi, of course, and Joji and Drishyam 2. I watched it more than 13 times or something because of my family. Because I, I watched
Which movie? Sorry, sorry.
Drishyam 2.
Drishyam 2.
Yeah.
You watched it for
that's
13 times.
Yeah, 13 or 14 times. Because my dad was grown up in Kerala. Okay, he was born and brought up in Kerala, so he's a very big fan of Lalitan. Okay, Mohanlal, they call it Lalitan. Yetan means it's like a brother,
Lalatal.
brother. Yeah, yeah, he's a very big fan of Lalitan, and because of him, I watched it 4 times with my dad, and I watched 3 times with my mom, and then I watched it 2 times alone. Okay, and then I watched 2 or 3 times with we whole family was sitting. Me, my mom, my dad, and my brother. We four were sitting and we were watching. Because for a couple of weeks I was watching only one film. Only one film I was watching for 14 or 15 days. Old. Because even I've got nightmares and all with, 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 because of this. I cannot get over from this film for that March and all. Okay, and that one, and then Mandela from Tamil. I really and the White Tiger. I really enjoy White Tiger because I'm a very big fan
White
of
Tiger.
Lal.
White Tiger.
Yeah,
Okay, was it just me that I didn't enjoy the movie that much?
yeah. I cannot hear you. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
was
enjoy
just
the movie that much. Like it was like the hype around it which was created. I
It
didn't
was
think that
good.
it
It was
like
good watch. I will say it was a good watch. Yeah, it was good for me. Yeah.
I think it's the American audience who always get fascinated by the slums in India, but that was pretty normal for us to watch.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, it's not that normal. I don't
The
know
screenplay
why.
pattern was really nice.
Like the there was no adaptation needed for that movie, and it got stretched a lot. It got stretched. There was a point of time when I'm like, can we please stop this? Lord, bro, just shut up. Like for me, it was that at one point of time. Like that was getting really stressed. Like for me. But
Yeah,
yeah.
and also I really love
Mm.
Park and because the reason Ajit Singh becomes a composer, I really
Sorry. You got
You
like
missed the name.
you were
yeah,
lagging. Yeah.
I really love Park and the first reason was because Ajit Singh becomes a composer with this film. I'm so happy with that.
Paglet.
Yeah, Paglit.
Paglet. Okay,
Yeah,
you're talking
Paglit.
Paglet. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then in English, I watched this film named Moxie. I've already told you, Shubham, yeah,
Can you write the name in the chat box? Can you write
Moxie.
its name?
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me something. Did anyone watch the girl on train?
No, I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it was it was a train wreck. It was very disappointing. It was highly like the worst film I've watched in recent times.
Really?
It was that bad.
Yeah, I watched Mumbai Saga and I was like, I thought that it's going to be really good. When after watching the trailer, then I watched it, I was disappointed a lot after watching Mumbai Saga. Mumbai Saga, Saga. What's the exact pronunciation of
I
that?
guess we had more of bad releases this year than good one,
Yeah,
right? Radhe and all those fuck all movies which we had like in 2021. So very rare movie like which I liked a lot. I'm talking about in India, like Indian scene, right?
Mm.
Like Hindi also. That also I was just like, because Malayalam there was I guess
yeah,
Kernan also which people liked a lot, and Master. I don't
yeah.
know. I Master
Master,
was Tamil,
Tamil,
right?
Tamil.
Tamil, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't watched that because I remember my friend. He's a Tamilian, and he got
Yeah,
really excited about it, and he asked me to watch it, but I could not go with him to theater. But I did not get chance to watch it yet. But yeah. So like I'm talking about in Hindi voice, like in Hindi cinema, it hasn't been a great year yet, like till now,
Every
because I haven't.
every industry.
sorry. Sure, my got stuck. Can you please
I
say that?
mean, yeah, I would kind of agree because I don't think there was any movie also coming in next few months, like in this year, which will be a great release. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think
Is
this
something coming?
Amir Khan's Lal Singh Chadda is coming. Yeah,
But
I don't know. It is not completed, but I know because I've loved Forrest Gump a lot. Okay, I've watched it more than 30 or 40 times. I don't think I can love Lal
but
Singh Chadda.
but I'm pretty sure they will not release it like 2021
Yeah,
because they want Lal Singh Chadda with Suryavanshi. These are the like all theater releases movie because they have spent so much. They will not earn anything from Netflix or Amazon. Must profit
yeah, and this film is
much weight that rather than like just going and release it on Netflix. That will be all 2022 movies. Um, all of those will be. 2021 may will just have like movies which were like a decent budget, not something which was like very much like Suryavanshi and everything, which had like I don't know 300 crores. Brahmas
Brahmastra.
Master,
Yeah, and
quite
Gangubai. Gangubai Kathiawar.
Subbu, you lagged again.
Yeah, the Angelina Bansali film.
Gangubai
Gangubai.
Kathiawadi.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think the
Gangubai.
trailer was really good.
Yeah,
I don't know how it's
yeah.
going to be.
This is really
I'm a very big fan of
yeah,
Alia,
trailer.
so I'm just excited about it.
I guess they were supposed to release it somewhere in like recently only, but because of the second phase, I don't
Wave.
think they will release it. Like yeah.
Yeah, that
So that is the thing. Because of the COVID, a lot of movies are getting postponed. So we are
Yeah,
not getting that much good movies in 2021. I
mm,
because I can't remember any movie which was good.
it was a bad year.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Okay.
move ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think do you guys have any questions? Do you guys have any?
I don't have
Should we
any
take the
such.
last question now? I think it's been
Yeah.
more than 1 hour.
Yeah. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Okay. Mohit,
Okay.
you wanna
Just
go ahead?
I
Yeah.
don't have any as such question, but just tell me a one movie which I should watch because I'm on movie marathon
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
So I
I
would
think
just
I would like to give some regional films. Okay. I would like to give some recommendation on the regional films. There is a Telugu film named Raju Varu Rani Karu. I can even
you'll have to
type it.
type it though.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That 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 was a 1 second. Yeah. Can you see that? Raju Varu Rani Garu. I think it's one of the perfect romantic films that released in last decade. Okay, yeah, I think this, this is the most underrated film I can call because it didn't even had a Wikipedia page. Okay, it didn't even have a Wikipedia. Absolutely, because I always have the habit of after watching the film, I always do watching the reviews and reading the reviews. Okay, and also I I do read the Wikipedia and I always check it out. But when I was going to check out, there is no Wikipedia for this. I was totally disappointed. But this was a very good film. I think it is available in Amazon Prime Video. Please go and watch it.
I just saw it is available on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
another
Okay.
film is you said you haven't watched Premam, right? Yeah, Mohit, you said you
Yeah, I
haven't.
haven't watched Premium.
Yes,
Yes.
Shubham have 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 you watched Premam? Yeah,
I've watched the Telugu version. I haven't watched the Malayalam one yet.
yeah, yeah. I think you should have to watch. You should have to watch the Malayalam one because the
Uh,
comparatively Telugu, the Malayalam one was really brilliant and it was so natural. I think the songs and everything was yeah. So you should have to watch. Remember the another film that I
Okay.
typed in the chat box, Raju Varu Ranigaru.
Okay. No, I got Premium. Premium. You texted me back
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and then yeah, that's it for me. I have the
Okay.
okay. Yeah, I'm done.
Shubham,
one is Sandeep or Pinky Farrar, definitely.
definitely watch it. Yeah.
And yeah, and another one I'm dropping on in the chat box. It's a difficult name.
Okay.
Have you watched this movie?
Yeah, I have watched it. It was a Telugu film.
Yeah,
Broche.
it's on Prime Video, and it's a very funny film. It's a very fresh take. I think
It's
even
about.
it's about three guys. It's a crime comedy.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Three
yeah.
guys getting indulged in some crime.
Okay. We'll
Yes,
watch it. Yeah.
speaking of comedy films, I think that there is this film named Jati Ratnalu released in
Yeah,
2021. Yeah, that was absolutely hilarious. I think even if you don't know the language, you can you love for the entire film. I think I forgot to tell that I think that is my most favorite film of 2021. It is absolutely
Oh,
damn hilarious. I think you have to watch.
type that name
It is
because
also
I
available
haven't.
in Prime Video. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched such like most of and that I said no. I'm like very much what do you say new to regional movies. So I
Mhm.
have no idea about Tamil and Malayalam and everything. I have mostly watched either Indian or like Hindi or Hollywood.
right.
Nice. Okay. So next, what
Yeah,
else?
I think. Do you have any suggestions, Mohit?
What did you ask?
Oh,
Do you have any suggestions, Mohit? Do you have any suggestions to give?
I
Any,
suggestion. I don't know. Like I like mostly mainstream movies. Watched Masan here. If you, they have
Yeah.
not, right? So
Yeah, I
that is
watched.
one movie which I love it a lot. And then like mostly in Indian, I would go. My thing is like Kapoor and Sons. If you have watched it,
Yeah, watched.
Dil Dhadakne Do are these movies. Bombay Velvet is one movie which I suggest. Um, Fundamentals of Caring, which I watched last night. It's a good like what is it? Wholesome watch. It is that movie. That is one movie if you guys have time. Watched yesterday. Oh wow, I forgot the name of movie I watched yesterday. Holy shit. I can't remember the name, but yeah, that is wrong. That is all. Yeah. Um, no, I can't remember anything else right now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. No, I'll stop recording. Thank you.